As you watch the cars circulating, we're told before break I mentioned that the weather forecast the rest of the day not terribly. We hope that we'll have a dry track throughout the day, of course, but it may rain again this afternoon. Yesterday reacts.
Sebastian Bourdais has received a blocking warning from that opening lap. I didn't see anything, Paul, that seemed to indicate blocking.
They saw something that we didn't see, but you know, he is now the leader of the field. A single file restart this time, so you know, Sebastian finally with the opportunity he's been waiting for to be up front leading the race, and we all know he's very good at this. So this could be his day.
And here we see, and presumably here's the blocking warning. Yeah, a bit of a dart across the bow. Not sure Castroneves was making a move, but that looked awfully European in terms of cutthroat racing.
Break coming up on his right side too, did Helio Castroneves. So we will get the green this time by. This is a 1.75 mile 11 turn road course, and it's worth remembering it's a street course. These are normal everyday streets, oil dropped by buses, cars, motorcycles, what have you, and you mix that with the rain we had yesterday, it's easy to see why it was so slick and officials were so careful about the decision as to whether or not to race in the wet.
Having seen just for a fraction of a second, Philippe's wing is flapping a little bit, so it is broken. We'll see how that affects his car and the rest of the guys behind him here as we go to green.
After a 17-minute 45-second red flag, we are back to green.
Bourdais with a huge jump.
Once again, Ryan Hunter-Reay looking to get around Helio Castroneves for second.
That's a good run out of that corner.
Watch the yellow car.
Castroneves is going to drive driver's right here.
Makes him go to the outside and protects the inside line. This will be a tough one to go around the outside, but he might be able to pull this off with the inside line.
Yep. Left-hander coming up.
He's got him.
Great wheel-to-wheel action. Hunter-Reay into second over Castroneves.
Pretty slick move there, Townsend.
Well, we talked about it in the pre-show yesterday. If you can hold side by side through turn 3, you can pull it off.
I tried that with Castroneves and it ended up in the wall with him.
I promise you he was thinking about that as he was leaving room for Hunter-Reay.
Now the cars are lining up behind Castroneves. That's Tony Kanaan and the Red Machine from Target Chip Ganassi Racing. Then Felipe, the rookie. Justin Wilson, Scott Dixon, James Hinchcliffe.
Sebastian has pulled a little gap with the racing that's going on behind them, so he's got a nice little buffer there. It's Kanaan looking to attack Castroneves, his arch rival from Brazil.
Now you're on board the 67, Joseph Newgarden serving the penalty for working on the car. And you notice that wall on the pit out. There's construction of a new hotel going on behind that wall, so the pit lane exit is more constricted than ever.
Something that I'm going to be watching here over the next 30 minutes is how do the red tires maintain pace on a green racetrack. With all of that rain, all the rubber washed away, it puts an extra demand on those Firestone reds. I think we're going to see tire wear play a big issue here in about another 10 to 15 laps.
Look at the gap Sebastian Bourdais has already opened up over Ryan Hunter-Reay. Gap of over 2 seconds first to second, and then this long train. You see how bumpy the front stretch is. There's Will Power, currently shown in 18th position after starting 23rd. Now you're on board with Pagenaud. That's Power up ahead.
And these two guys don't have any love lost for each other. They've had some drama on the street courses of Long Beach, so this could be an interesting fight.
Marty?
former teammates and close friends. And yes, they have not gotten along too well. In 2014, you see Simon Pagenaud trying to make a move on Will Power. How about this? Two of the fastest cars all weekend, way in the back here. 17th and 18th for these two guys trying to make their way back up through the field. Tim Cindric just reminded Will Power a moment ago, take care of your fuel here. They would love a caution in the next few laps, and they'll do the opposite of whatever the leaders do. It's going to be a track position all day long, track position game all day long for both of these cars for the rest of the race.
Yep, piece of bodywork either came off a car or was lying on the racetrack and was tossed in the air by the tires.
And right now, I think Pagenaud has a slight advantage running the Firestone Reds. The data says he's on blacks, but he's actually on reds, as you can clearly see in frame there. Power's just going to try to hang in there until the Reds start to lose their edge, which should start to happen over the next few laps.
All the way down to first gear for turn 3. Swinging onto Manitoba Drive. This is quick and narrow. Final corners now to the front straightaway. The gap for Sebastian Bourdais over Ryan Hunter-Reay is out to 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, Bourdais is flying there up front, about half a second a lap quicker the last few laps than Hunter-Reay and Castro Neves behind him.
That last lap. That was a good lap.
I believe that's Michael Andretti commenting on Hunter-Reay's fuel mileage. So clearly they know that to go 65 laps, even with the yellow, they're going to have to stretch their mileage. Kevin?
What's scary for the rest of the field is it's going exactly according to plan right now for Sebastian Bourdais. They wanted him to get a good gap as quickly as he could if possible, and now they're working on saving fuel. So he's maintaining this gap right now, and he's still hitting his numbers. He is on pace to be able to make it a one-stop race.
Sebastian has always been a good fuel mileage driver, and we know that in times of past, when he gets out front and he's comfortable, he's a very, very tough guy to beat. So right now, driving away from the series champion Hunter-Reay and making his fuel mileage. So it'd be a good day for the KVSH team.
They're about 5.
You're watching race 1 of 2, scheduled on the same day here at Exhibition Place in Toronto, Canada. Race 2 will come your way at its regularly scheduled time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on NBCSN. So be sure to join us for that. A big day of open wheel racing here on the NBC family of networks. At the end of Lakeshore Drive, here's that first gear, turn 3 again. See where they built that wall out over the curbing at the entrance to turn 4, or 5, I should say, to prevent cars from going 4 wheels behind that curb as they did in last year's race. Up front, Sebastian Bourdais just set the new fast lap of the race at 1 minute 1.1195 seconds.
And that gap just keeps opening up, Bob. He's, 4/10, half a second quicker. That last lap a little tighter, started to slow down a bit, presumably dialing back those fuel mixtures and maybe lifting a little bit early on the straights to save more fuel.
Also save your energy. Double race today, long race. So we see Castro Neves trying to make that outside move that Hunter-Reay pushes him wide. Tries to do the over-under here. Not close enough to make that happen.
Castro Neves burned a push to pass on that shoreline back straightaway. He has 7 remaining. Hunter-Reay 8, Bourdais 9 in the bag.
And that was the effect of that new wall they put out over turn 5.
These are 2 championship contenders fighting now, so as this continues to happen, it will allow Sebastian to even stretch that gap even further. Canon in the picture here. They pulled the gap on Philippi. So it's a 3-way fight here for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
And Hunter-Reay pushing a little harder at that last corner. He wants to try to keep a gap right here so that Castro Neves doesn't have another chance to make a run on this back straight and use the draft.
Meanwhile, Simon Pagenaud hits the pit lane. Marty.
Rob Edwards is going to get Simon Pagenaud off strategy here. They're going to put the primary sticker tires on and see what they can do. They also had a little bit of damage that they did not get from the accident. The one interesting thing is they left the tires that he spun on the car for that last run. He said there were no issues with it, but the steering wheel is a little bit off for Simon Pagenaud. He gets those sticker primary tires, and we'll see if they can play the strategy game.
Very, very slippery on cold tires getting up to speed here in Toronto. You can see he's sawing at the wheels. Very difficult to get around here on stickers.
Especially on those harder primary Firestone tires. Flashing across start finish goes Sebastian Bourdais, one of 5 former winners of this race in Toronto. He is leading by 3.1 seconds and pulling away. We'll be back.
Closed captioning brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers, because not everyone drives like you do.
The all-new Golf from $18,995 makes the average drive anything but average.
Volkswagen, das Auto.
Well, 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 if it isn't Indy race car driver James Hinchcliffe.
Hey.
Pretty nice Civic SI you got there.
Yep.
Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh yeah, this is happening. Got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
Get a full lunch with 3 pieces of KFC's famous original recipe chicken. Right now, 3 pieces plus fries is only $5.99. Wow, that's a real deal. And also enjoy happy hour at KFC with $1.49 snacks and $1 drinks. KFC's happy hour weekdays from 2 to 5. So good.
Enjoy free chips and fire-roasted salsa with purchase at Mucho Burrito, fresh Mexican grill.
Welcome back to Toronto with the Indy cars, but we have Formula One news next Sunday, just a week after today's German Grand Prix. The Formula One Pirelli Hungarian Grand Prix is here on CNBC. Mercedes hot as ever. Lewis Hamilton will look for his 3rd straight victory at Budapest. The Formula One Pirelli Hungarian Grand Prix next Sunday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern on CNBC. Watching the battle here between Michael Aloshin and Mike Conway.
Conway with a brilliant pass to the outside for 14th, but great move.
Yeah, Conway, one of the cars, caught up in that first lap accident, well back in the field. A lot of work ahead of him, working lap number 14 of 65. Kelly.
It has been a difficult and frustrating weekend for Mike Conway. They just haven't been able to get the setup right on this car all weekend. It was a little bit better for qualifying. He qualified 16th, gained a couple of spots because of those cars sent to the back. Well, then he was sent to the back again after that red flag incident. The team was not very happy with it. He spun to avoid making contact with any of the melee. He got stuck, sent to the back only ahead of Joseph Newgarden. The team was not pleased at all with that decision.
See Mike Conway, he's really working that car. It looks like it's handling better than it has throughout the whole weekend. At Houston was really a struggle for him. He put a move on Aloshin the last lap, and he's pulled quite a nice gap on him, as we see in the background. As we see coming into turn 1, still a little bit bouncy in the front. He's got a good entry, gets back to the gas soon and kicks that rear end out a little bit, stays in the throttle, and he's on the move.
Helped by that concrete patch that's been so slippery and such a challenge for these drivers all weekend.
Track has no rubber on it now, so it's going to continue to change. You know, with all that rain yesterday and the blowers going around, and you know, it's washed all the rubber off the track. As you can see here, the concrete is white. So the track is going to continue to change, Townsend, all day long.
And one of the things, Paul, speaking of tires and rubber, is look at the rate at which the marbles are already building on a green racetrack, the rate of wear, and you see it evidenced by the marbles offline. That's going to build very quickly here.
That makes it tough when you do get a run on a guy coming off of turn one, and it becomes one line. As we see this freight train of cars with Hinchcliffe, coming onto the back straightaway becomes one line, and you can't really get side by side with a guy. You get in those marbles, and you'll end up in the wall in a heartbeat.
On board with Hinchcliffe following Dixon.
Busiest man in Toronto this weekend, the only Canadian in the field racing in front of his home fans. Hinch has been everywhere. Probably happy to be in the car, as good as an ambassador for the sport as he is. Boy, he has just been all over town. His face is on every magazine.
Mayor has a busy schedule, huh?
Yes, he does.
Is the mayor coming to Hinch's party tonight?
I don't know, maybe.
You should invite
Mayor Ford of Toronto.
Oh, that's Philippi off song. Oh, whoa!
He's hit something.
Whoa, that was scary. Whoa, to lose it on the back straightaway in front of a train of cars.
I think what we're going to see is he probably hit the wall on the outside of turn one and has broken the toe link.
Oh man, that was really close.
And this is the widest part of the track, and we've got a car.
That's Huertas.
Carlos Huertas, the winner of the first race in Houston a few weeks back. He's into the turn three tire wall.
Paul, do you think Philippi's damage is from the earlier contact with Pagano, or maybe we'll catch a replay and see if he got into the wall?
It looked like the rear, like something was broken in the toe link and the rear snapped around and fishtailed on him. If we can find it, we might see that he might have hit the wall on the exit of one.
Full course caution. Let's take another look at that move by Luca Filippi. May not have been entirely under his control, but oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah, good thing that nobody was right up behind him when that happened. You know, I wonder if it's the left rear toe link, and in the earlier incident with Pagano, he mentioned touching the wall with his left rear, but did it happen somewhere else?
Oh, you got wide right there in the gray.
In the marbles we were just talking about.
Boom, hit the wall, bent the toe link, probably broke it, and that wheel will just move around and turn the car like you have rear steering.
In fact, it's fortunate for him that Carlos Huertas got into the wall and helped bring out that yellow flag that he needed to get safely around the track. To Kelly.
Well, and Paul had picked up on it earlier that there was some damage to Luca Filippi's front wing in that first incident that he had with Simon Pagano, but they just wanted to power through. This was his best starting position he was going to get this weekend, because remember, round two, he will start on entrant points, and he's a part-time entrant, so he will be at back of the pack. So he said this is his race to go, so he wanted to push as hard as he can, and now you see that Ray Hall, Letterman, Lanigan team going to work on Luca Filippi's car.
He's shown so much pace at Houston as we watch Huertas with damage and a little banner probably caught in the left front wing. He'll have to get to pit lane. So just going to say we've seen so much pace out of Filippi in the one-offs that he's done so far, but he's had a real issue making it through each session and race.
He was super quick at Houston, but crashed both days. The first day was a heavy crash. Second day was lighter. Obviously, there's no question he is quick, but you got to get to the end of these races, and that's what makes Dixon and Hunter Ray and these guys and Castroneves. That's what makes them so good at these races.
Mike Conway's in. Kelly.
And you see as they went off those red tires and put blacks on for Mike Conway's Ed Carpenter racing car. It looked to be a pretty quick stop there for the 20, and now you're looking at Carlos Munoz from Andretti Autosport also making his stop.
I'm going to take back what I said earlier, having looked at that donut on the front right wing of Luca Filippi's car. It was the leading edge of Simon Pagano's wheel and not the trailing. So that was a stouter hit than I thought at the time.
These yellow flags really help Sebastian Bourdais for two reasons: fuel mileage and tire wear. He's on those reds that a lot of people seem to want to get off on these pit stops, but the longer we go under yellow, the easier it is for him to make it one stop running full ridge.
Third race Sebastian Bourdais has led this season. He led one lap at the Indy 500 and another at Pocono Raceway. He is the dominant leader here.
Well, 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 if it is an Indy race car driver, James Hinchcliffe.
Hey.
Pretty nice Civic SI you got there.
Yep.
Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh, yeah. This is happening. Got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
Simply type in a name and let Ancestry guide you on a journey through your family history. Ancestry.ca. Who will you discover?
Is gray facial hair giving you the look you don't really want? Tone it down with new Touch of Gray Mustache and Beard. Now you can reduce your gray without getting rid of it all, so you get the look you want. New Touch of Gray Mustache and Beard.
With every stay at Hampton, enjoy our free hot breakfast
You
options.
did a great job. It looks good.
Then fuel up with double points or double miles on your next getaway. Make every stay more rewarding and feel the Hamptonality.
Small and sweet. Sweet and fresh. Fresh and fruity. Fruity and fun.
Tic Tac. More than you expect.
Your mama's a no-account fool. But you ain't gonna be. Everybody gonna know your name.
What the hell you doing?
The mashed potato.
That ain't nobody's mashed potato.
If you ain't never been down, how you gonna get on up?
Get on up, the story of James Brown.
Welcome back to Toronto. I'm Bob Varsha with Townsend Bell and Paul Tracy up top. Robin Miller, Kelly Stavis, Kevin Lee, and Marty Snyder down in the pit lane. We're about to go green after a full course caution for two incidents involving Luca Filippi, the Italian rookie who has gotten out of the car, and Carlos Huertas, who made a pit stop for repairs and remains in the order back in 18th place. Sebastian Bourdais has had things all his own way from the lead. We'll see if that continues as we go green once again in Toronto.
Pretty late start for Sebastian. He waited on that one quite a long time, but he made a good one. As we see, Kanan took a look down the outside of Castro Neves, and he looks like he has a good run.
Wilson
coming down to the straight.
Wilson and Hinchcliffe battling it out there. A little tough for Bourdais to get the power down there. We see the marbles offline. I wondered if he picked up a little bit of that spent rubber under caution.
Oxworth down the outside. Graham Rahal taking a look down the outside of Justin Wilson. If he can hold the spot, he'll have the line at the next corner.
Yeah, nice move by Rahal. He's having a good race.
That's Wilson up ahead.
Graham Rahal so strong in that second race at Detroit, strong at Houston. Their race pace on the street circuits has been very good. See him all over back of Wilson, who's fighting to hold on to the balance of that Boy Scouts car. And Graham's going to have a nice exit here.
He's going to have a nice little run here. Pulled a little bit on him, but
Nice job. Wilson's on black.
I think he might make a dive at the outside.
But I would
try
wait
to square him up here.
I'd wait here, Paul, and then I'd be on the push to pass right now if I'm Graham. I'm watching the screen to see he has. Wilson's picked one to defend, and Graham is on the button as well. Both Wilson and Rahal on push to pass down the back straight.
Wilson defending.
And that green means they're both with push to pass activated. Rahal to the inside.
Beautiful move.
That was easy.
Move. Nice over under.
And Wilson locked up his rears, I think, Paul, in the brake zone, slid a little wide.
He pushed him in as deep as you could possibly go, and Wilson was in a little too hot, and he over-undered him.
Let's hear from Luca Filippi out of the race. He's with Kelly.
And you just watched his teammate Graham Rahal make that pass. Not been your day, though. What happened in that second incident?
Yeah, great move from Graham, by the way. Unfortunately, as you know, my front wing was damaged on the right side, so I was struggling very much in the last corner before the finish line because I had so much understeer because of the downforce I was losing. So I was always struggling, and I also worn a lot the front right. And in that lap, I just went a little off the line because of that extra understeer, and I basically went on the marbles and hit the wall slightly, actually, more than slightly, and that was it. It's such a shame because I was keeping the pace of the guys on front, and everything was going well.
We saw Lucian just get around Saavedra, but Luca, did you learn anything in this short time out here that'll help you in race 2 this afternoon?
Yeah, I think we have a good pace, so that's all we know. We just need to try and overtake people, because we're starting, as you know, with driver's point, and starting from dead last is going to be difficult. I'll do my best.
Thanks, Luca.
Good point. The day is not over. Luca Filippi can get his car fixed, get into race 2, coming your way at 3 p.m. Eastern time on NBCSN. Meanwhile, the battle continues.
Bob, look at Marco Andretti passing where I've never seen anybody work it side by side. That was amazing.
He wanted that one, didn't he?
Beautiful pass.
As we look at Will Power and his teammate.
You saw Will give a definitive look into his mirror to see where Montoya was for that brake zone.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to make that block move that he's made on the past and get yourself a penalty at this stage of the game.
And here comes Newgarden, Paul, on Montoya. Newgarden to the outside. Let's see if he can do the side-by-side hold here.
He's got Power ahead of him, setting a pick unintentionally.
Montoya drove him way wide.
Gave him the side horn. That's what he did.
There's the chrome horn, and then there's the side horn.
I think they touched wheel to wheel, and he just shoved him out of the way.
We're used to seeing Juan Pablo Montoya in a blue and white car. He has this beautiful red and white livery this weekend, carrying Hawk Performance. Here's a look. There's Newgarden alongside.
Oh, wow. He's more than alongside. Over.
That's a new term, the side horn. Yeah. That's what he gave him.
I think he gave somebody that in the rental car last night.
I'm stealing that one. Good battle here. Sebastian Saavedra has been going backwards slightly. He was a part of that Lucian Andretti battle earlier. Now he's falling into the clutches of Will Power in this long line of cars following.
And Saavedra, of course, the teammate to Sebastian Bourdais, our leader. I'm watching the pace of Bourdais, wondering if they're on similar setups to see if Bourdais' pace falls off. And here comes Power.
Strong outside braking. He'll carry it around the outside. I think Saavedra will just give this one up to him.
Yeah. Beginning to see shadow.
Puppy, pit this lap.
I think that's Saavedra calling for the pit stop as opposed to the other way around. So his tires, those Firestone Reds, are going away from him quickly. He's going to make a run for pit lane.
So Montoya's going to. Saavedra will go to the pits.
Yeah, but laps to stops. Sorry, the end.
There was actually some radio issues between the team and from the red Firestones to the black. They tried to call him in during that yellow caution. He wasn't hearing them. So he was out there a few more laps than they expected. They made a wing adjustment as well. Sebastian Saavedra back out.
They turned as many wing out because he was so loose. So trying to balance the car, he's got to.
Let's go. We'll go.
Or do you think the blacks are more loose than the reds? You have more understeer. And
I think probably a combination of both. Having a look at his tires here, some graining there. I think we're looking at the fronts. Yeah, there's the rear tires. Tough to tell here. Back on board with his teammate though, Sebastian Bourdais. Again, watching the pace. His pace 101s. Ray's 102 and Castroneves 102.0.
Working lap 27 as they swing back out onto Lakeshore Boulevard. And the gap, Bourdais to second place, Ryan Hunter-Reay out to 2 1/4 seconds. Frenchman appearing to have things well under to go here in race 1 of 2 on this Sunday in Toronto.
Well, 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 if it is an Indy race car driver, James Hinchcliffe.
Hey.
Pretty nice Civic SI you got there.
Yep.
Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh yeah, this is happening. You got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
That's where I had my first cigarette. I felt so dizzy I almost threw up. Tried to quit lots of times, but it's hard. This is where I started smoking. This is where I'm gonna quit.
Quitting isn't easy. Talk to your doctor about non-nicotine prescription options to help you successfully quit.
the type to exfoliate, or vacuum, or dust. But under your hood, you could eat dinner off the valve cover. Gunk cleaners and degreasers. It's a great time to be a guy.
Well, 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 if it isn't Indy race car driver James Hinchcliffe.
Hey.
Pretty nice Civic SI you got there.
Yep.
Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh yeah, this is happening. You got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
Jim's hair is perfect. So is his serve. But like up to 60% of Canadians, Jim falls short in getting important nutrients from food alone. Support your diet with One A Day. One A Day is specially formulated with more of the key nutrients you may need.
Welcome back to Toronto. Here's a program note. Thursday, July 31st, Meekum Dealmakers is on NBCSN. Dana Meekum and his army of car guys get the show on the road as they head for Houston. Go behind the scenes with Meekum Car Dealers Thursday, July 31st at 10 Eastern on NBCSN. Don't tell anyone, but there you see the shadows of trees here at Exhibition Place in Toronto. The streets of Toronto seeing sunshine for the first time since Friday, and that's a good sign. Maybe we'll get 2 complete dry races in today on the Verizon IndyCar Series trail. They're the biggest movers thus far. Will Powers picked up 11 positions from starting at the back. Charlie Kimball, haven't had to call his number much today, but
And Bob, I think right now we're starting to see the situation with the tire crossovers. You see your points as they run right now in the upper right-hand corner. Castroneves would have a 26-point lead, and Hunter-Reay and Power would nearly be tied. But right now, I think we're seeing the crossover in tire performance. That last lap from Will Power on blacks, 101.3. The guys on reds are really starting to struggle. Marty?
And that's exactly the case for Will Power. He and Tim Cindric have talked quite a bit about that. They actually kind of got the caution, Townsend, in the window they wanted, right around lap 20, and that's when they thought they would pit. But just what you talked about, that these primary tires were getting so much better than the reds, they noticed that, left him out. He's gained 5 spots since that restart, coming up through the field very quickly. Now the interesting thing, what do the teams do on this next stop? Because the tire rules are out the window, because we had a rain race yesterday. Do they go primaries, or do they go with the softer red tires, as Power had a close call a moment ago, but that's the debate right now. What do you do on the next stop?
Well, regardless if it's red or black, Will has got to take care of the tires, and he had a big right front lockup there, Marty, going into turn 8. Might have a little flat spot, Paul, on his right front.
As we're watching the times, it obviously seems like the blacks are lasting longer, but Bourdais is still out there on the reds, pulling away now almost 4 seconds. He's at a 101.8, so taking care of the tires. I really feel that this is a shot in the arm that Bourdais needed. Like, you get out in the lead and you build confidence. And just like Kanaan the last few weeks, we're seeing a different driver out of Kanaan since he led at Pocono. And obviously he was so dominant at Iowa. As we see Bourdais, he's checking out right now on the reds.
Checking out. He's the only one that's even remotely close to doing that pace on red tires.
4.5 seconds ahead now.
4.0.
Like I said, you know, he's had such a struggle over the last couple years getting back to his form, and you just start to think as a driver, am I ever going to get a win again? And you get out front and that confidence builds. And you get, I can do this, I can do it, and we're seeing that today.
His teammates with Sebastian Bourdais at the Indy 500 this year, and one thing that I really noticed was his insistence on every detail. He was never satisfied with the setup in a way that, you know, continued refinement with his engineer. And it's that sort of precision and attention to detail that can yield the lap times he's doing right now on the reds.
This is James Hinchcliffe on rookie Jack Hawksworth for 8th place. Meanwhile, 2nd place also getting warm. Hunter-Reay and Castroneves nose to the tail.
Yeah, these guys are going to be pitting pretty soon. Castroneves is now all over the back of Hunter-Reay. Hunter-Reay is complaining. You can see him sliding, getting sideways.
And as we approach those pit stops, Paul, the in laps and the out laps on cold tires. Castroneves to the inside now.
Nice move.
Those in and out laps are going to be everything if they pit under green. Castroneves with only 3 push to passes remaining, and he's using one here on the back straightaway.
The captain told him earlier in the race on the radio, said chill out on those push to passes. You won't have anything left for the end. He's definitely wanted to get by Hunter-Reay and extend his points lead on him.
And look at Graham Rahal trying to hold off Justin Wilson. Justin Wilson, another driver. In fact, Justin Wilson, your first driver through the field on black tires. And clearly we're seeing the difference here with Rahal struggling on the reds now.
You're modulating the throttle. A hard time just carrying constant throttle. He's in and out of the throttle with understeer.
So narrow and so bumpy. And now that we're getting bright sunshine on the racetrack, it's going to gather up some heat, and that's going to change its characteristics as well.
Also going to rubber this track in, Bob, much quicker than when it was overcast. So we see the rubber in the last corner.
Hit this lap.
Rubbering up.
Hit this lap. Make it a good one.
Tony, a nice move down the inside.
And Hunter-Reay's smart here, not to defend too much. Knowing the pit stops are coming, don't put yourself at risk.
To Kelly.
James Hinchcliffe, the hometown boy, just completed his pit stop. He went to sticker reds. So we'll see how those hold up here as the afternoon heats up. And now you see Will Power.
And you see Marco Andretti. What a nice run it's been for Marco. Worked his way almost into the top 10. He's coming off pit road right now. He said his car was a little too free at the end of that run. A lot of these guys who had the red tires on were not very happy with him at the end of the run. Will Power also leaving pit road as well, guys.
Getting a little lockup at the left front.
And it looked to me like Will Power might have just clipped the air hose in front of him, leaving the box, but it was a small, small touch.
Castro Neves still on track.
Looking for Sebastian Bourdais. There he is. Boy, his last lap was just 0.2 off of his best lap.
Which is surprising that he'd go to the blacks now. If he was able to maintain pace on reds, why would they put the blacks on? Maybe just to play it safe. He has the pace.
Marty.
Guys, you can imagine Ryan Hunter-Reay was screaming at the end of that run. He said, I cannot hang on anymore. Michael Andretti said you just had to hang in those last couple of laps, but he lost 2 spots in those final few laps. They went with sticker red tires when they came to pit road, guys. Car was extremely loose at the end of that run.
Out they come.
Going to get some guys coming here on hot tires, and this is very tricky to get as we see Charlie's going to try to make a move on Wilson. He's on hot tires, Wilson cold.
Here's another look at the power stop. Watch the right rear.
Got wheel spin. He does run over the gun, but that gun was kind of just left out there.
A little bit of body work from the side pod.
It's Marco Andretti's, guys.
Technically, under the rule book, that is a penalty.
Here comes race leader Castro Neves.
Makes the move to get up to second position, so he gets in there a little quicker than the two Ganassis. Here comes Kanaan around, and then Dixon right around him. So the front three that were running 2, 3, and 4 before this pit stop, 2, 3, 5, I should say, are back out. Castro Neves easily beats him. Kanaan's going to beat his teammate Dixon. So no change among those three as they come out, as we also see Juan Pablo Montoya.
Boy, oh boy. So much pit activity as Montoya comes back out.
You know, in that Will Power situation, what I was wondering was Marco's guys, we see Montoya come out into traffic with guys on warm tires. Marco's guy, I think normally the right rear would hold the air gun all the way back to the wall. It was on the ground. I'm not sure why.
Oh. See Hunter-Reay Dixon getting after it. I think they almost had contact.
I think so.
There at the apex.
Did look awkward.
Hunter-Reay is back on the move. He's decided to go for reds again, it looks like.
I was just going to say, Paul, he was struggling so much at the end of this run. Why would you put the reds on it for Bourdais? He was so strong on the reds, he put blacks on. Understand no action taken on the Will Power incident.
And shuffling to the lead on that off-schedule strategy, Simon Pagenaud now leads the race by 7.5 seconds. So let's get more on Pagenaud's deal with Marty.
Well, and guys, remember he pitted earlier in the race back on lap 7, I believe it was. About 10 actually is when it was. Rob Edwards just told him on the radio, we have 7 laps here to make hay. Run as hard as you can for these 7 laps, gain as much time as you can, and then they'll bring him to pit road here in a moment.
You see his last lap was a 1:01.4, which is near the quickest, almost quickest in the field as of right now, and close to the quickest lap of the race. So he's got the hammer down right now to try to get as many positions as he can. He's got a clear track, open track with clean air. You watch him here in the fast part of the track.
You see the in and out lap comparison for Sebastian Bourdais, who did 5 consecutive increasingly quick laps, opening the gap from 2.4 to 6.9 seconds before he stopped.
And if Pagenaud can make great time, he'll pit and have fresh reds for a few laps at the end of the race.
So the strategies are playing out rapidly as we work lap 38 of 65, well into the second half of race 1 of 2 in Toronto.
Sunshine now at Exhibition Place in Toronto, the first of 2 races on this doubleheader Sunday. 2 65-lap races, or 80 minutes with Bill Adam. I'm Rob Faulds. And as it stands right now, it is Simon Pagenaud in the lead, Sebastian Bourdais second, James Hinchcliffe running in 10th place right now. Let's go trackside to Todd Lewis. Todd?
With an update on James Hinchcliffe, a smooth pit stop, 2 fresh sticker tires for the front and for the rear of the red Firestone, the quicker tires. He'll try and maintain that position and hopefully gain a few. The crew says everything is fine with the Hinchcliffe car. For his teammate Ryan Hunter-Reay, trying to already think big picture in terms of the strategy. He was racing with Helio Castroneves, who got around him just prior to those pit stops. Castroneves trying to continue to have the gap, but Ryan Hunter-Reay wants back in front of Castroneves. Michael Andretti on the radio telling him earlier, you're racing him for the championship. The rest of the contenders are behind you. Don't worry about them, but they want to be in front of Helio Castroneves. Pagenaud in the lead now. He will have to make one more pit stop, though, Rob.
Bill, I found it interesting. You raised an eyebrow when you saw James Hinchcliffe go to the red tires.
I did. I'm glad I'm not the team engineer here, because I would have put him on the black tires. We saw very early that the Pagenaud car ran really well on the reds. Sebastian Bourdais was running well on the reds, and yet Bourdais particularly, he chose to go to the blacks. The heat of the warmer temperatures right now does pay a penalty on those red tires. I hope it doesn't hurt Hinch.
It was just remarkable to watch in the beginning of the race how dominant Sebastian Bourdais was, running clear, running fast, too. He got to a 102.
Yeah, very, very smooth driving, and that's really what you have to do. Thankfully, that is one of Hinch's traits, is that he is a very smooth driver. He has to make the reds last.
Well, we're into lap 40 of this 65-lap race. Let's go back to NBC SN. Bob Varsha, Paul Tracy, and Townsend Bell. First of 2 at TO.
Stand back in the pits, boys. It's going to be approximate.
So I didn't see, who was that on? Was that?
He tried to go around
Montoya.
Back in Toronto, Ryan Hunter-Reay, the man third in the championship standings, 32 points out of the lead, has been involved in an accident. He has made heavy contact with the left front of the car, and you hear Michael Andretti telling him shut the car off. The accident was with Tony Kanaan on the racetrack, tight quarters, and this has huge championship implications. They have shut the car off. Ryan Hunter-Reay just shaking his head inside the car. They will have to fix suspension pieces. It's going to be a long repair for Ryan Hunter-Reay, and Michael Andretti clearly very upset with what's happened on the track and how this result will wind up.
Well, let's look at the replays down in Calamity Corner. Turn 3 at the end of the straightaway, under braking for the right-hander.
Hunter-Reay had been on the move. He passed Dixon a couple laps ago. He tried Tony on the outside, but really wasn't there. Tony had the line here, and look, they just touched, and it shot Hunter-Reay over into the wall and has smashed that front suspension. Tony was very lucky not to get spun around like Pagenaud as well.
Right. Hunter-Reay was so patient before the pit stop in giving things up. And, man, he has to back out there. That's too low probability.
Basically a carbon copy of the Philippi Pagenaud situation. As we see here, the front suspension, the lower wishbone is broken. It's just broken the front wing off.
Comes out under the car.
Surprised they won't go for a yellow to get that wing out of the track.
Yeah, got debris out there. Here's Sebastian Bourdais, currently second, but set to become the race leader.
That will cut your tire in a heartbeat, like I just said. I'm surprised they wouldn't get that wing out of the track.
Listen, if you want to run out there, I don't think safety workers want to run out of there.
Pagenaud, who had the race lead on that off-schedule strategy, came in. Looks like he put the blacks on. Kevin?
And obviously that's a real big scare for Sebastian Bourdais, looking for his first win since 2007. He ran over that debris, but they already can tell from the sensors the tire pressure is okay, so they think they have dodged one. By the way, we were wondering a little bit why they not choose reds again on this final one. The Firestone alternates, all they have are scuffed reds, and they feel like the black primaries are the much safer call.
You hope you're okay that you don't cut a tire, because now that wing is broken into much smaller pieces of carbon fiber that can still cut your tire down on the exit.
We saw Graham Rahal make contact with Scott Dixon in Calamity Corner.
Wow, we are under green.
See, Dixon wants to make a move on Pagenaud. Pagenaud still on cold tires, and he's locked up now, coming down the braking zone. Now there's carbon fiber there laying in the track, and
hardest thing to do here at Toronto is to come out with a field of 5 hard-charging guys on hot tires when you're on cold tires going into that brake zone in turn 8 or the brake zone in turn 1. But the pressures for Pagenaud are coming up fast, the tire pressures and temp.
This is 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Pagenaud, Dixon, Rahal, Kimball, Hinchcliffe, all lined up.
Now this was some of the most amazing car control I've seen in a long time. Hunter Ray is wounded. Watch Juan Pablo Montoya. Whoa. That is 3rd or 4th gear, wheel spinning.
That's a Tanner Faust drifting move right there.
And knowing Montoya, that would have been like, yeah, whatever, no big thing.
That
comes naturally.
Good fight here.
On board with Rahal.
5 cars here fighting each other really hard.
Rahal behind Dixon.
Really nice race for Rahal so far. 6th place. It's the best he's run all year, other than Houston. He was in 3rd place.
Now did the battle get too hot? Let's take a look down in turn 3 on board with Rahal.
Oh, Dixon ran a little wide. Big touch.
Yeah, you might say that. Lucky to get away without suspension damage.
That exit, Bob, from turn 3 is so inviting. You see somebody make a little bobble, as we saw earlier with Pagenaud and Philippi and in other instances. It's so inviting to take a lunge, but then you have that kink right there that tightens up in turn 4. And it leads to problem after problem year after year, but makes great television.
You see now Pagenaud is stretching away. He's got his tires up, and now he's starting to pull away from Dixon, and Dixon is really holding up the rest of this train.
Keep in mind, Ryan Hunter-Reay, who you just saw being wheeled back to the paddock with another race full of points on hand coming up later on today. But he was up into 3rd after that victory a week ago in Iowa. He'll take a beating in the points in this first race and try to recoup at 3 p.m. when we come to you on NBCSN for the second.
And that one definitely hurt.
More cars joining the train behind Simon Pagenaud. We'll take another break. Here's your top 5. We'll be back to Toronto in a moment.
What's a born maker made from? From small steps, giant leaps, big ideas, and sharp minds. All the things that make a born maker made this a car with swagger, intelligence, soul. We are born makers. We made this, the all-new Chrysler 200.
Things have changed.
We deliver the richest live poker experience on the planet. Win a free seat to the Poker Stars Montreal Festival with a prize pool of $1 million. Qualify now only on PokerStars.net. We are poker.
Small and sweet. Sweet and fresh. Fresh and fruity. Fruity and fun.
Tic Tac. More than you expect.
Well, 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 if it isn't Indy race car driver James Hinchcliffe.
Hey.
Pretty nice Civic SI you got there.
Yep.
Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh yeah, this is happening. You got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
That's where I had my first cigarette. I felt so dizzy I almost threw up. Tried to quit lots of times, but it's hard. This is where I started smoking. This is where I'm gonna quit.
Quitting isn't easy. Talk to your doctor about non-nicotine prescription options to help you successfully quit.
Back in Toronto, Ryan Hunter-Reay sits helplessly here in the paddock area trying to get the left front suspension. It's a lower wishbone, certainly, and some other suspension components on the left front that they'll have to fix. And all he can do from his cockpit, he can certainly hear the roar of the cars on the track. He kind of stares off into the distance and can hear all those points ticked away by each lap. They're losing points here in the paddock as they get this fixed. The team did say it would be a fairly quick repair to get him back out on the racetrack, but it's a very helpless feeling. I'm sure you drivers can comment on this, to sit here and feel all those points going by the wayside.
In fact, Ryan Hunter-Reay has dropped one position as they run at the moment to Simon Pagenaud, who moves up to third in the championship as they run Ryan Hunter-Reay down to fourth.
So we'll see, Bob, it's all, we got a little fight here, but at the front it's all kind of spread out by a couple of seconds in between each car. If we get another yellow, we're going to see a real tight fight as Power's now in the frame at the back of this group of cars and really hasn't moved forward all that well today, Townsend.
No, but he's on black tires, and the three guys in front of him are on those reds, and I expect in the next 5 to 10 laps that those red tires are really going to start to fall off. So the challenge for Will to be making measured decisions about how aggressive to make those passes relative to the point gain and the risk and the reward and all of that, which has not gone his way the last few races.
Ooh. Mike Conway and Carlos Huertas. That's for 18th. In a way, I imagine right now Sebastian Bourdais' biggest supporter in the race is Will Power, because Bourdais leads Castro Neves, the points leader in the championship. Will Power is going to want to see Bourdais take as many points off Castro Neves in this race as he can.
Well, obviously, Bob, Castro Neves knows he doesn't really have to beat Bourdais. He knows where Will Power is. I'm sure he's got Roger in his ear telling him the point situation, and this is a big gain for him today. So really no point in taking any big risks. So this definitely helps the KV team.
And a nice run for Charlie Kimball, who's quietly sort of marched his way here into the top 7. Currently runs on those red tires, but he stayed out of trouble.
One from overhead. Princess Boulevard turning on to Manitoba Drive. Really quick, really narrow, really bumpy. To turn 8 onto Nova Scotia Avenue.
Bob, you know the streets so well. If you could help us get back to the hotel, it's hard getting out of here.
I'm a little rusty on downtown Toronto, but if you ever get the chance to visit this city, do it. This place is amazing.
Fantastic city, very diverse, great downtown, nightlife, thriving business community.
There's Princess Gate, symbolic of the exhibition place track that has hosted the Indy cars 28 of the last 29 years. Today is the 29th start of the Verizon IndyCar Series at this track, with the 30th coming up later this afternoon. And what a day it's been for our race leader, Sebastian Bourdais, as you watch.
That was a little defensive maneuver by Aloshin there after the fact.
Good pass. Focus forward here.
Nice pass. Nice pass by Newgarden, but that could have been disaster.
Yeah, that was a flat-out block.
That's Andretti in the red and white car next up on Aloshin's gearbox. Behind him, the red and yellow of Sebastian Saavedra. And then Juan Pablo Montoya. How patient will he be?
Got his.
If he can hold on, Sebastian Bourdais will become the 9th different race winner this year. The record is 11.
And he is exercising. I was going to say, Bourdais is exercising his pace. He's now dropped below the 101-minute pace. That last lap, 1 minute .86.
See Montoya now under threat from Briscoe. Briscoe's making a move to the outside. He's been setting this up for a lap, and he's strong on the outside, but Montoya does not give up easily. He could use the side horn here again, but he gave that one up.
Yeah, but Briscoe did a great job. He just had a nose ahead to where Montoya couldn't side horn him like he had done previously.
Boy, in that corner, you need a shoehorn, not a side horn. Anybody else a little surprised that Juan Pablo is this patient? There they are, wheel to wheel in the brakes.
Yeah, he was completely ahead by the end of the brake zone, and he gave him a little bit there on the side. Gave him a little bit in the back corner there, but not enough to push him offline.
There's such pride in your voice at every side horn, Paul.
I love that. I love that move.
Now, Newgarden and the black car of Jack Hawksworth.
Two young hard chargers, both in Hondas, both with great road and street circuit pace everywhere we've gone this season.
And the Sarah Fisher car's on the move. He's passed 2 cars in 2 laps, so on the move.
13 laps to go. The next time Sebastian Bourdais flashes across start-finish, we'll take a break and return with more. First of 2 races on the streets of Toronto. Stay with us.
It's the trade-in, trade-up event at your Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, and Ram dealer. Get a great deal when you trade up to Ram 1500 Eco Diesel, Canada's most fuel-efficient pickup ever. Or the all-new Jeep Cherokee, AJAC 2014 Canadian Utility Vehicle of the Year. Dodge Grand Caravan, Canada's #1 selling minivan. Or Dodge Journey, the country's best-selling crossover. Plus, you could even win your purchase. But trade up quickly because it all ends July 31st.
Hercules, the gods who killed your family have unleashed hell on Earth.
Do I look afraid?
Hercules. In Real D 3D and IMAX 3D.
What do you think we've done?
Week 24, prepare to meet your match.
With Cash for Life, every week can be a new experience.
Thanks for dinner. Don't thank me. Thank week 46.
For a limited time, Cash for Life bonus tickets give you more chances at $1,000 a week for life, plus bonus prizes of $100,000. Play now, win for life.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Indy race car driver James Hinchcliffe.
Hey.
Pretty nice Civic SI you got there.
Yep.
Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh yeah, this is happening. You got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
That's where I had my first cigarette. I felt so dizzy I almost threw up. Tried to quit lots of times, but it's hard. This is where I started smoking. This is where I'm gonna quit.
Quitting isn't easy. Talk to your doctor about non-nicotine prescription options to help you successfully quit.
We're back on the streets of Toronto. Bob Varshy up high down in the pit lane. Kelly Stavist, Marty Snyder, Kevin Lee, and Robin Miller. 11 laps to go. The first of 2 races. The second one coming your way later today, 3 p.m. Eastern on NBC SN.
Watching your race leader, Sebastian Bourdais, who just lapped, I believe, his teammate Sebastian Saavedra, who had to pit urgently off sequence earlier on those red tires as he was struggling to hang on. That'll provide a nice buffer with Castroneves as we see Briscoe and Hawksworth going at it.
That is absolutely a great move by KV to now have a team car in between them in second place to at least create a buffer, but right now Bourdais has been the class of the field. He's just been able to measure his pace and control the whole race.
If you're with us for our qualifying coverage, we mentioned that Sebastian Bourdais started from pole for the first time since the Dutch race in Assen in 2007. 2 races after that, he took his most recent victory in what is now the Verizon IndyCar Series in Mexico City in 07. So what a day for Sebastian Bourdais, winning from pole for the first time in years.
10 laps to go, and all these guys that are running 7th, 8th, 9th, Kimball, Hinchcliffe, Wilson on red tires. I think this is where the red tires really start to come apart in terms of their grip, especially running so close nose to tail. You lose the downforce, Paul. It puts extra wear and tear on the softer compound, and now Power has to decide, how aggressive do I be with an advantage on tires in making up each spot?
He's got to be aggressive if he wants to win this championship, but obviously you can't put yourself in a situation like Hunter Ray did and end up in the wall and really lose ground. So, you know, you got a double header here, and if he makes a mistake, it could be super costly with his teammate running in second place. He's doing exactly what he needs to do in the championship. So
looking at the push to passes remaining, Will Power has 2, Justin Wilson in front has 2, Hinchcliffe 5, and Kimball 6 remaining.
Kimball's had a nice little clean race.
Marty, what's going down in pit lane?
Well, guys, by the rule book, you cannot push a car out of the paddock with less than 10 laps to go, so Ryan Hunter-Reay will not make it back out today, and what a frustrating way to end the day for you. Tell us what happened in your incident first off.
Yeah, just made a bunch of moves there. You know, the Ganassi cars were pretty trimmed, and got around Scott around the outside there and got around Castro Neves around the outside, and I was next to TK through the corner, and then just kept coming left, and I knew I was getting the squeeze job, but I thought he'd leave me a little bit of room there, and he just, you know, ran out of real estate. I don't know.
He hit you pretty hard, didn't he? And I'm sure you were immediately thinking championship, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's unfortunate. I mean, trying to, you know, keep the car in one piece through these double weekends especially, and right there I expected a little bit more room, but I guess it's my fault for expecting. I'm not sure how it works. Just have to go focus on race 2, and hopefully we can do a good job there. We had some issues with the first set of tires there, just overshot the pressures on them and really fell off. You know, we were running second, really happy with the car, and then just started struggling with it. But I got on new reds, and I was really looking forward to that stint.
And guys, to make matters worse, to finishing the repairs to get him back out, that will not happen. Back for the finish here in Toronto. It's going to be a good one.
Closed captioning brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers, because not everyone drives like you do.
She took performance to a whole new level, blew away her competition, and brought a country to its feet. It's that kind of courage, creativity, and conviction that inspired the game-changing 2015 Mazda CX-5. A fun-to-drive vehicle that combines exhilarating performance, unrivaled safety, and exceptional fuel efficiency, thanks to its innovative Skyactiv technology, the 2015 Mazda CX-5.
How to have an epic summer. Drop everything. Rush to EB Games. Spend $50 or more on anything in store. Get a pull-and-play card. You could win one of over 400 prizes, like a PlayStation 4 console, Sony Action Cam, next-gen games from Ubisoft, Games G190 screens, EB Games gift cards, or the grand prize of $20,000. Brag to friends and return to EB Games, your epic summer headquarters.
Enjoy happy hour at KFC with $1.49 snacks and $1 drinks. KFC's happy hour, weekdays from 2 to 5.
So good. Genie and Milos aim to build on their Wimbledon success stories at Canada's ultimate tennis event. Rogers Cup presented by National Bank, August 4th through 8th on Sportsnet.
Well, 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 if it isn't Indy race car driver James Hinchcliffe. Hey. Pretty nice Civic SI you got there. Yep. Did you notice that I'm also driving a Civic SI? Oh yeah, this is happening. You got owned, Hinchy!
Celebrate over 50 years of racing during Honda's Checkered Flag event. Lease a 2014 Civic DX for $39 weekly at 0.99%.
We are back in the closing laps of race 1 of 2 here in Toronto on the Verizon IndyCar Trail. Now they got through turn 3 right there in good order, but Calamity Quarter struck again moments ago.
Bob, nearly an identical situation to the Hunter-Reay incident with Kanaan, but watch Will Power on the outside of Justin Wilson. He gets right into this jam here, and he decides to back out, pull the chute. Critical decision to protect the equipment.
Smart decision on Power to do that, but that was going to be disaster if he tried to stick his nose in there. As we see Bourdais comfortable out front, building confidence. This is exactly what he needed now to get his first win in a long time.
And further back from Sebastian Bourdais, as we see the longest drought a driver in IndyCar has had since a win. Graham Rahal at 108, Marco at 54, and Bourdais at 52. Boy, this is therapy of the highest order.
And imagine what's going to happen in race 2 later this afternoon, because entrant points will set the grid for race 2. That means Sebastian Bourdais will start mid-pack. And if he has all the speed he's shown thus far today, that's going to be interesting to watch.
And Will Power getting a little more aggressive now, trying to get around Justin Wilson because he's got Newgarden sneaking up from behind.
Doesn't
Meanwhile,
look like his black tires are hanging on that well. He's sliding around, and
turn 3 once again.
So he tries again on the outside, and it's the same thing. Wilson runs him a little wide, and he just can't pull that pass off.
And further ahead, there's Bourdais again, your leader. Further ahead, Pagenaud and Tony Kanaan. Pagenaud's pace has been exceptional. He has caught Tony Kanaan after the big incident at the start to come back, and now fighting for a podium position with 4 laps to go. What a drive, and what a great call by Rob Edwards, team manager.
Amazing drive from Simon Pagenaud, who stands to be 3rd in the championship as they run right now. Marty?
Yeah, I was going to say, let's give a shout out, and Townsend did it, to Rob Edwards for that call. And really the moment that they got the track position, they got the strategy right, was lap 10, when he saw that Simon Pagenaud was not making the progress through the field that he would have liked. He brought him to pit road, that put him off sequence with everybody else, and that's allowed him to get all this track position here at the end of the race, and clearly paying off, but also doesn't hurt to have a very fast car either, does it, guys?
Well, for sure, Kanaan is going to be driving for everything he can do to hang on to this podium. And if I'm Pagenaud, I don't know if I would take that risk. This is a good point stay of 4th over Power.
Surprised, Paul, to see Kanaan on the button using a push to pass. There are only 3 laps to go, but I would have thought he saved those for the last 2 laps because Pagenaud not that close there.
Pagenaud with 2 pushes left too. Will Power, by the way, has used all of his pushes. So if he's going to get by Justin Wilson, he's going to have to do it without the boost. Oh, Newgarden and
Will Power.
Whoa! Oh, jeez.
That will damage the rear suspension. He'll be lucky to get away with that.
Oh, to clip the end of the wall like that.
It's broke.
Keep
going here. It's broke.
Oh, he's crab walking. Is he going to go around?
Yeah, he broke that toe link when it hit the end of the pit wall there, at the end of the K-rail.
Newgarden with the dive. Power with the...
Oh, overcooked it.
You know, Power went to defend and saw Newgarden all locked up coming in hot. Wisely left room.
Spins the wheels, tries to get the kick turn.
Oh.
Just misjudged the distance.
Those don't move.
Watch Power here. He sees Newgarden in his mirror. He thinks, I'm going to leave him room. He's not going to make the corner. Really smart driving by Will Power.
Well, he clipped the end of the trackside wall.
Look at Bourdais. He's going to lap Montoya in this race.
Montoya hanging on to those reds sideways everywhere.
Bourdais with 7 push to passes still. He's barely used any. White flag.
No pressure.
No pressure at all, based on the drive that Sebastian Bourdais, a 4-time series champion, has put in here in race 1 on the streets of Toronto.
This has just been a textbook day. This is what we used to see out of Sebastian back in the Champ Car days. Just a phenomenal drive today.
And Montoya on the button to defend from going a lap down. That's a race for pride right there out of Montoya.
Castroneves closes up. He's now there because he got held up by his Penske teammate.
Well, we talked about it. Sebastian Bourdais has not won in a long time, and he is a driver who is used to winning 4 series championships, then a brief hiatus in Formula 1. He is back in the car, and after a 52-race drought, he will bring KBSS Racing their first victory since the 2013 Indy 500 when Tony Kanaan won for them. Bourdais, his 32nd career victory from pole, dominating all the way on the streets of Toronto.
All right, buddy. Hold it together, buddy. How about this afternoon? Good job, bud.
Jimmy Vasser with words for his conquering hero. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Sebastian Bourdais can do from mid-pack in race 2 this afternoon.
A lot of happy faces in the
Thank you
KB
very
pit.
much. Wait, you the man, Bourdais. You the man, brother.
32nd career win for Sebastian Bourdais moves him into a tie for 7th on the all-time win list with Scott Dixon and one ahead of Dario Franchitti and our own Paul Tracy.
And guys, as you would imagine, a lot of smiles down here. Jimmy Vasser, come on over here. You put Sebastian Bourdais back in victory lane. Did that remind you of the old Bourdais right there?
Yeah, and hopefully there's more of that to come. You know, when he gets on a roll, he's unbeatable. We've always believed in him, especially with Hydroxy Cuts. This is their hometown, their headquarters. Great job by the whole team, and you know, it's nice to be back in victory lane.
You know this drill from a psychology standpoint as a driver. When you've not been in victory lane for a while, what does a win like this, a dominating win, do for you?
Wow, it's reinvigorating, and it's really, I think it's more to come. The team's done a great job. We've had speed all year long, and I really think this is the beginning of some more wins.
You've got another one today. You can pull the double if you'd like.
Yeah, we're going to come from a little farther back because of starting on the points, but we'll give it our best shot.
All right, Jimmy Vasser, all these guys thrilled down here, as he mentioned, a hometown race for their sponsor. Huge win for Sebastian Bourdais.
And the second win from pole for a driver this year. Remember how deep into the season we have come before a pole sitter won a race. That happened 2 races ago at Pocono Raceway when Juan Pablo Montoya did it. And now as Sebastian Bourdais breaks out the croissants, he becomes the second driver to win from pole.
Didn't forget how to do donuts. Those are nice.
Those are nice, perfect circles. I don't know if I'd want to be doing that on my race motor for this afternoon, but
good point.
Definitely feels good to have to do those.
Oh, race motor, schmish motor. Let it rip. Come on, it's been so long.
Boy, oh boy.
Looks like he might have stalled there.
Do they want me to go to the podium thing or in pit lane?
And where is that podium thing?
This whole team's taking their headsets
not
off.
sure, man. Hang on a second. We're figuring it out.
Look at that road course record for Sebastian Bourdais. 28 victories over some pretty stout road racers. Well, we don't know if he has directions, but I would imagine Sebastian Bourdais will get a lot of help finding victory lane. And Toronto is quickly turning in to a beautiful day. Forget all that stuff about afternoon forecasts.
What a brilliant job. I mean, he's going to be incredibly strong in race 2, but like you guys said, for him to start mid-pack, that's going to be a great show to watch this afternoon.
That's like Jimmy said. I mean, once you get out in the lead and you know you can do it again, we've seen this with Kanaan the last couple of weeks. He's a completely different driver now, Kanaan. And so, this bodes well for Bourdais throughout the rest of the year.
This ought to be fun. Kevin?
Win number 32 for Sebastian Bourdais, the first since 2007 in Mexico City. And he moves past some legends, Paul Tracy and Dario Franchitti, in his 7th in the all-time IndyCar win list. It's been coming for Bourdais, and he is going to enjoy this. Emma, his little girl, is here. That's his wife, Claire. Alex, his little boy. And this is a family situation. They celebrated with a pair of podiums here last year in Toronto. This time, one step better. Oh, how sweet it must be for Sebastian Bourdais, who was as dominant as you could be during his run in Champ Car, and now is back in victory circle in an Indy car. Kevin Kalkoven comes over. James Sullivan, Sully, one of the owners. We've heard from Jimmy Vasser. This is going to be a celebration. I'm not sure if they'll race again today. They might enjoy this one for a little while. Come on over here, Seb.
Hey, this is one race. If we fail tech for being underweight, man, it's all good.
It's been a little while. What are you thinking right now?
Oh, man, just so many things. So many things. I'm a bit speechless, to be honest, because it's the kind of races that you're the one to lose kind of thing, and it just went perfect, from green to checkered flag. And these guys at Hydroxycut, they gave us the great support this weekend. Lone Star, Stroke OK, and it's what an association with these guys. They give me a second breathe.
Your kids have never been in victory lane with you.
No, they've been third and second here, so we had to complete the sweep.
And they told you to hang on to the trophy. I still say that wasn't your fault.
No, I think this year they only present the crystal, so we should be fine.
How did you get this done today? Because there were a couple of challenges, but you dominated this race.
Yeah, it was a pretty dominant performance from that event machine, and we knew we had the pace after qualifying. We didn't know how the thing was going to be on really long run and tire wear and everything, but it was back to the old days, saving fuel and making it and being smart, and made it stick today. So.